But social media ain't real. Instagram ain't real. Twitter's not real. Don't let the opinions of the internet affect you. Just because you can't do it right now doesn't mean you won't ever. Just because you ain't making that bread right now don't mean you won't ever. Just because you ain't doing your dream job right now doesn't mean you won't ever. It's just a matter of trusting the timeline of your life. Welcome to the Chasing Genius podcast. My name is Crystal and I am your host for the number one show for creatives in pursuit of their own creative geniuses. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited to talk about social media and everything that encompasses our lives when it comes to being an artist, a creative, an all-time content creator in this world. I miss the days when social media was just social media. I miss when Twitter was just Twitter, when Instagram was just Instagram, when Snapchat was still a thing. I miss Tumblr. I miss Facebook before the old heads took over. I didn't really use MySpace, but I respect what it was for the millennials. And it's interesting how when these platforms were first starting out, it was a way to connect us. It was a way to bring us together. It was a way to create community or find your community. And it was a way to learn about other people, other cultures, other countries, other identities out there. And I feel like in the last few years, social media has kind of warped into this fake reality, I don't think, I have a running joke with my friends that Instagram is not a real place. Instagram is not real. Post whatever you want to post because it's not a real place. And that's my way of, not having posting anxiety. It's crazy that we have posting anxiety, or we worry about people not liking our stuff. We worry about how many followers we have. We worry about being an influencer or not being an influencer, or making fun of influencers or content creators. And it's become this way for us to measure our success with other people. I fall victim to that just like any other creative. Oh man, I don't have 10K followers, or oh man, I don't get thousands of likes on my posts or my photography or whatever. Oh man, I just saw this homie of mine going on to 5 different countries, going on trips, living life on a yacht, and I'm just here. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm definitely not as successful as them. And I think social media has now turned into you're either an influencer or a content creator. And if you're not using social media for that reason, then why are you using social media if you're not trying to be a brand? We're all trying to be brands to some capacity, or promote a brand or promote some business, and it's taken away the fun of it. Well, I'll say for Twitter, I ain't calling that John X, but for Twitter, I would say Twitter has somewhat maintained its normal banter, but it's also gotten pretty serious with the threads and everyone trying to inform everybody, everyone having an opinion, everyone coming for people. Life has become so much more serious because of social media, and I think the things that we used to just have fun with and not take too seriously, and just share the things that we're making or share the things that we're into, we're now filtering it through what is cool, whatever that means, whatever's the in thing for social media, that's what we're gonna do. We're trying to get viral, whatever's gonna help us get viral, whether it's using a snippet of this song, or whether it's doing this dance move, or whether it's mashing up your edit in a certain way. It's almost like social media has sort of streamlined social media has sort of streamlined us to be the same. We're all monolithic. We have the same interior design in our cribs, or we're into the same type of music, or we're into the same style of clothing, or we're into the same style of editing, we're into the same type of photography, we're into the same type of videos. It's almost like it's even happening on YouTube. How many day in the lives have we seen? How many POVs have we seen, or insert city diaries have we seen? It's almost like we've become the algorithm. And in becoming the algorithm, we're now measuring our success based on how well whatever we put out there does on the algorithm. And I think it has affected the way we use it. You know, I have a lot of friends who are a lot more comfortable posting on close friends because whatever they post, you know, they don't think it's going to be as good to post on their main story, right? Because they don't know how other people are going to react. But I trust the people on my close friends to not judge me in that way, because that's why we have close friends. And I think that because we do that is because we're afraid of the judgment. We're afraid of not fitting in. We're afraid of this idea of, yes, being seen, but I think we're afraid of sharing who we are to an extent, because we want to fit in. And it goes as far as extending to comparing ourselves to other people's lives, you know. And for me, it's like I see a lot of my age mates, you know, who are successful, who are doing great things. And then I see what they post on socials and I'm like, oh man, I got to do the same exact thing. Or like they have way more engagement on their posts and I got to do this in order to get engagement on my posts. Or they're able to take trips and I'm not quite there yet financially. You know, I'm still building and I'm looking at myself like, damn, what did I do wrong? You know, how are they doing that and I can't do it? And it seems easy, but it's not easy. And it's like we're measuring our entire existence to a 60-second reel or a story or a 10, 15 minute, 30 minute YouTube video. In the grand scheme of things, 60 seconds to my 27 years of life is, I have a lot more seconds in 27 years, right? So I think social media, it has become that double-edged sword. And I am honestly just using this space to just say that you are not alone. I fall victim to it, you know, and I try to remind myself that Instagram isn't real. You know, it's not a real place. You know, I'm still my own individual and I don't have to compare myself to other people because I don't know what they're going through, you know. Like, I think the interesting thing about social media is that it only shows us happy snippets of people. And the thing is, all of us as human beings, we all go through a wave of emotions, you know. It doesn't matter how successful or how wealthy or how rich or whatever's going on in your life, you're still going to experience sadness. You're still going to experience pain. You're still going to experience grief. You're still going to experience anger. You're still going to experience sadness, love, joy, happiness. We're all going to be experiencing a wave of emotions. It just looks different for everybody. So when you're comparing your life to someone who's seemingly always happy or seemingly always traveling, you don't see the little moments where they're probably going through it. You know, like everybody has their own problems and challenges. Like none of us on this earth are exceptions to that. You know, we have our own hurdles, our own obstacles that's kind of specific to who we are. But just because we don't see that on social media doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And I think we have to take time to understand that, like, this isn't the full story of this individual. We don't know this individual. The only person that knows this individual are the people that actually, you know them. You know, like even for me on YouTube and creating a podcast is I'm still only sharing what I feel comfortable sharing on the internet because it's still the internet, you know. I don't want no blackmail. I'm messing that. But it's still just the internet, right? And I do want to be as honest and transparent with my journey and my struggles. And it is why I do these things, to remind people that you are not the only person experiencing this, to at least know that you're not alone. You know, you're not alone in how you're feeling. You're not alone if you don't feel like you're not where you're at, you know. Like I feel that way too. Like I don't feel like I'm where I should be, but it's like, who made the rules? Like, who's telling me I'm not where I should be? You know, it's society, it's people outside me. It might be, for me, it's my family or my parents or other people in my communities that I know that I think are doing way better than I am. And I'm looking at myself like I should be, you know, if not above them, I should be at the same level with them, right? Or just looking at moments in my life where it's just, you know, I'm taking L's and I'm taking those failures and I'm just taking it to the chin. Like people don't see that really. And only those closest to me know like what's actually going on in my real world, because we need friends who we're able to kind of just pour our heart out to. But you're not about to go on social media and pour your heart out to people you don't know very well. And I know a lot of us aren't comfortable doing that. So just think about that for yourself. Like, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, just imagine all the people you're comparing yourself to who are also feeling like, yeah, I'm not about to pour my whole heart out on social media because it's not what I want to do, right? And just thinking about comparing ourselves on social media, I would say specifically Instagram. I think Instagram is probably where a lot of us experience that comparison a lot more, because we see pictures, we see videos, we see stories, we see captions and things like that. I feel like it might be, TikTok's for banter now, and Twitter is also for banter, so you might not feel that way. But I would say Instagram and possibly LinkedIn might be the top two, at least for me, are usually the top two that I sometimes struggle with. I pull away from Instagram mostly because I want to just focus on what's going on in my world, and it's a timeline. Instagram has timelines, Twitter has timelines, LinkedIn has timelines or feeds, whatever you want to call it. But remember that your timeline is your timeline. We all have different lives. It's true. Like, your life is different from my life. What you've experienced is different from what I've experienced, and where you're going is different from where I'm going, correct? We all have different purposes. We all have different intentions. We all have different variations of impact that we want to have in the world. And that's beautiful. It is beautiful to see that there's 8 billion plus people in the world, and we all have different ideas of how we want to live our lives. And I'm starting to learn that it's important for us to trust the timing of our lives. We have to learn to trust the timing of our lives. What's meant for you is meant for you. I say it all the time. It sounds like I'm pretty much being repetitive at this point. But the timeline that we have in our lives is different. And we have to trust that it is ordained by God, right? And for me, it's like, just think about it. Growing up, when we were kids, we thought like 18 was like it. We couldn't wait to turn 18, right? And then we turned 18 and we still felt like a kid. We didn't feel like an adult. I didn't feel like an adult when I turned 18. It felt like, okay, I'm 18 now. And then we go to college, and then you're experiencing that whole like academic setting in a different way. I went to school out of state, so it did feel like a really big change for me. And then I remember like at 18, everybody couldn't wait to turn 21, and everybody couldn't wait to turn 25. And I know as a kid, we thought 25 was ancient, man. Like I thought 25 was ancient. If I turn 25, I'm an old head. I'm on my, like, the young kids think I'm old. And how many of us thought we were probably going to get married, have children, many children at that, and just like start a new life and like have a family at 25. 25 has come and gone for me, and I still feel like, I still feel really young. Like, I still feel like I haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg of my life, because I'm trying to live to be 100 plus years. I'm trying to be a centenarian, if I could even say the word. Maybe I might become one. But imagine I've only lived 25% of that. In the grand scheme of things, I still got like 75 more to go. So it's like the timeline of life looks different for everyone. We can't compare other people's successes. When I think about people who are successful, a lot of times we try to think of people who got successful quickly, people who got successful before 25 or before 30. But then we forget that there's a larger percentage of people who got successful in their 30s and their 40s that people just don't talk about. Like people like Ava DuVernay. Ava DuVernay didn't pick up her first camera to start directing until her 30s. Issa Rae, Insecure, didn't get successful until her 30s, and that was after doing her own stuff on the side for much of her 20s, right? Her own personal projects and pushing the envelope in her own way until she got her first deal. But there was a lot of no's before that. People like Walt Disney, right? Disney didn't start until he was like 40 something, or even actors like Samuel L. Jackson, like he didn't get his first gig until like later in life. So there's so many people who didn't hit their prime or didn't even start their prime, because I believe our prime is a lot longer than just a couple of years. You know, your prime is as long as you want it to be, who didn't hit their prime until well later in life. And I think we have this preconceived notion. I honestly, I don't really know where it comes from, to be honest, besides like upbringing, that we're supposed to like have all our successes, know what our lives all about, and have all our ducks in a row before 30, before 25. And I think that hinders us from actually exploring and experimenting with life and having the opportunity to really enjoy life to the fullest. Because the truth is, when it comes to life, life is always ebbs and flows. You know, there's no moment where you're just like, yeah, I made it. Because even the people who have made it, they still are seeking more of what there is to life. You know, they're still trying to live their life to the fullest and do the best that they can with the resources that they have. And I think the other part that a lot of us struggle with is that we have a hard time showing gratitude for our current life. We got to wake up in the morning and say, thank you, God, universe, most high, higher power, because there are people who don't make it. You know, there are people who are in freak accidents. There are people who are sick, but you wake up every day, day in and day out, despite what's going on in your life, you know, because we all got our own individual challenge, but you wake up every day. That is a cause to give thanks, to show gratitude, to show appreciation, to having breath, because the fact that you have breath in your lungs means that you have another opportunity to chase those goals, to chase that ambition, to fulfill whatever it is that you want to do with your life. There were moments where you prayed for times like this. And even me, like I be like, yo, I live alone. I'm able to pay rent. I'm able to have a job. I'm able to be a creative. There were moments when I was much younger, 18, 20, 21, where I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to be able to live alone or afford to be able to do things. I have a car too. You know, we get these things and then it's like we just kind of forget to give gratitude for that. You know, I got a Toyota, you know, but my dream car is a Rolls Royce. You know what I mean? Like, I can't have a car and be mad that it's not a BMW or a Benz, you know? And even if you do have, you know, all these fancy cars and you want more, you still got to give gratitude for what you do have, because there were times where you prayed for moments like these. There were times where you were in the, you know, shop, working hard, doing what you got to do in order to accomplish that goal. And I think it's important that we move in an energy of gratitude, because abundance is what attracts more to us. When we move in scarcity, when we move that, oh, only these people could be successful, or only these people can make money, or only these people are able to make an impact, it limits us from the creativity of being able to like do more in our own lives. You know, we can only do as much as we open ourselves up to. And if we move in scarcity, it's hard to attract abundance in our lives. It seems crazy, but like saying thank you every day, it at least helps you no matter what you're going through. It's like, listen, at least I got a roof over my head. At least I got clothes on my body. At least I'm able to do certain things, or I'm able to do this, or I'm able to do that. And you just keep moving and just keep going, you know, just laying the foundation, laying the brick, one brick at a time, one brick at a time. And I know like J. Cole been getting a lot of flack these days on the internet, man. Hip hop is in shambles real quick, but he do got that song, Love Yours. There is no such thing as a life that's better than yours. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. Let that sink in. We all got different lives. Your life is as beautiful as it can be. My life is as beautiful as it can be, and it's only going to get more beautiful. It's only going to get more exciting. As long as we accept that, all right, this is my reality, but I can change that. I could do something different, because it's your world. You know what I mean? Like, the world is your playground. You can do whatever you want. with whatever you have within reason. I mean, I ain't out here saying you gotta break the law or nothing, but within reason, the world is your playground. Whatever you can imagine, you can make. And if you don't know how to make it, find the people that are gonna help you make it. But you gotta love yours. You gotta love your family. You gotta love your friends. You gotta love the people around you. And if you don't, then you gotta switch it up. You know, you gotta do what makes you happy. You gotta do what makes you excited. But you can't hate your life. You gotta love yours, because there's no such thing as a life that's better than yours. Even people who have the best lives, right? Or we think they have the best lives, like celebrities, for example. We think celebrities got it made, bro, but I feel like this year has been a year of the reckoning. I don't know, man. The celebrity life ain't really what it's cut out to be. No privacy. What you doing behind closed doors is coming out. You know what I mean? You're seeing that they don't really have pure hearts. They don't really have clean hearts. They're not really doing things the right way, but they rich. They got money. They can move around how they want to move. But you don't know at what cost, right? You only know what cost you can for yourself and what you're willing to allow and what you're willing to do. So I think, no such thing as a life that's better than yours. And then the last thing on the whole comparison thing is, just because you can't do it right now doesn't mean you won't ever be able to do it. I think we try so hard to do so many things at once. We have so many ideas. We try to pursue them all. We have so many incentives. We have so many things that we want to do. And we think that if we can do all of it and we can do it as fast as we can, it's going to make us more successful or better off or whatever the end goal is. But the truth is, you can really only focus on 1-2 things at a time. Focus on that. Lock in on that. And do your best to make that the best thing ever. And then move on once you have more bandwidth. I have so many ideas I want to do. I have so many business ideas. I have so many nonprofit ideas. I have so many creative projects that I want to do. But I'm like, no, I got to finish this one that I'm working on right now. Put all my energy, put all my effort into it. Just because I can't do the other stuff right now doesn't mean I won't ever do it. I have a long life. I'm trying to live to 100. So I'm going to focus the first quarter, the first half of it, focusing on these few things. And then once this is done to the best of its ability, then I'm going to transition and focus on the other things. Just because you can't do it right now doesn't mean you won't ever. Just because you ain't making that bread right now don't mean you won't ever. Just because you ain't doing your dream job right now doesn't mean you won't ever. It's just a matter of trusting the timeline of your life and focusing in on what you got going on. Focusing in on that, locking in on that, and making it to the best of your ability. Don't half-ass stuff, man. Do stuff to the best of your ability and watch it grow. We got to learn to be patient. We try to rush life. We let social media rush us, and it's like, if we're not successful now, then we're failures. Nah, you're not a failure. You just lack patience. You lack patience. You lack the ability to commit. You lack consistency. You lack a little bit of focus, and you lack loving your own life and taking your own life in your own hands. Just wait it out, man. We got a long life to live. Time is of the essence, I know. Time waits for no man, I know. But your life is your life. You cannot allow outside voices. You cannot allow social media. You cannot allow people who are not experiencing life through your own eyes to rush you. Take your time. Trust the timing of your life. Don't compare your entirety to 60-second highlight, TikTok, reel, whatever. And just know that as long as you stay committed to the course, as long as you stay committed to what your ambition and what your goals are, you will succeed. It's inevitable. You will succeed. If you keep hitting a rock, if you keep hitting a building, at some point that joint's gonna crumble because you've hit it so many times. But don't stop. There's always a way for the relentless. And even if you fall, you get back up. Because it's not really about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get up. And we all heard the story of the tortoise and the hare growing up. The hare was the fastest bull. He was fast. He was supersonic fast. And he still lost the race. The slowest in the game won the race. So if that ain't a word, I don't know what is. But social media ain't real. Instagram ain't real. Twitter's not real. Don't let the opinions of the internet affect you. What's real is what you think about yourself. What's real is how you feel about yourself. What's real is about you making your dreams happen. So thank y'all so much for listening. It's been real. It's always a pleasure. The genius in me sees the genius in you, and I'm always, always rooting for you. Peace.